So, good day, everyone. Welcome back to the 101 Questions of AI, where we tackle the most pressing questions around artificial intelligence. I'm your host, Michelle, and here with us today is our in house expert, Luca. Today, we are going to discuss the misconceptions around artificial intelligence, the top three. All right, so Luca, please guide us to the first one, which is the one that everybody's worried about, that AI is going to take everybody's jobs. This is it.
Well, thanks, Michelle. This is probably the most pressing and the most scary one, because to some extent, AI is changing the marketplace and is going to change the marketplace forever. I use the word change because the job market has always evolved. In this current situation, certain jobs, yes, indeed will disappear. Others will change. Let's not forget that the most part of the jobs are fairly complex in the sense that they involve multiple tasks. And as you know, we are still in the age of narrow artificial intelligence, where artificial intelligence is great at doing one task and one task only. So for me, it's very hard to believe that entire roles can be eliminated. Like, for instance, think about executive assistants. They have a lot of different daily tasks. It's not only about managing a calendar. It's much more than that. Okay, picking up phone calls, certainly this kind of jobs won't go away in like a year or two. But stay relevant. Stay vigilant. Think about learning new things all the time, and think about how you can take advantage of AI to do your job better and faster. That's what employers look for.
All right, so we just have to stay relevant, stay up to date, and we will still have our jobs. Yeah?
100%.
That's good to hear. Okay, and our second misconception is that AI algorithms are neutral and that they're really objective. They're machines after all, no?
Well, look, that's a great question, and great misconception, actually. It's a very motivated misconception because a lot of people hold the belief that AI is a perfect machine, like given an input, we get an output that it is what it's supposed to be. The reality, if you dig into the into the details, is that machine learning algorithms and models and AI models are as good as the data that was used for training them. Okay, it's a little bit like training a kid or educating a kid. So it depends. It can be educated with good material or bad material, and the results are very different. For instance, there's a lot of bias in certain models. I'll give you one example. Facial recognition, it works like a charm when it comes to Caucasian people. Do you know the reason why?
Because there's more Caucasian people who have access to technology. Is that it?
Sort of. Don't forget that AI developed mainly in Western countries in the last 20 to 30 years. So in the US and in Europe, obviously, the majority of people are Caucasian, and the data sets that they used to train those algorithms were data sets that were initially collected by the researchers themselves. So family and friends, they would collect pictures of their kids, their family members, and train the algorithms. And that's why we have biases. So, for instance, in this case, facial recognition is working great for Caucasians, but when it comes to Asian people, there's a clear gap in performance.
There's room for improvement.
That gives you a sense of how difficult it is to train machine learning algorithms in a pretty unbiased way. Even in other use cases, like in financial or in fintech use cases, this could have dramatic effects. Okay, people applying for mortgages, people getting hired by an algorithm that has the wrong data set, and then they get discarded just because they are not represented into that data set. So this is probably a very motivated conception.
Yeah, this is a very important one that's good to understand from you. And I guess this leads into like the last and the third misconception that people generally have is that AI algorithms, you just feed them all of the data. It doesn't matter what you do, you just give them all of the metadata and they will figure it out. Is that true?
Sort of. It depends on the kind of algorithm that we're talking about.
Hmm.
Uh, from a pure data science perspective, I would say garbage in, garbage out. Okay.
Hmm.
From a machine learning perspective, this is still true, but with some caveats, in the sense that there are algorithms that are less, let's say, less sensitive to
Hmm.
noise in the data. But certainly, this is still an unsolved problem that needs to be fixed with humans.
Indeed, it's very interesting. Now, what do you think exactly brings about these misconceptions? Is it all the AI, the scientific and the sci-fi and everything, all the movies, the television? Is it that? Is that it?
I think, I mean, it's a lot to absorb. You know, this the explosion of AI has been dramatic, and it has been super fast, the adoption. So people still need to digest all these new capabilities and new opportunities. So with time, all these misconceptions will fade away.
That's good to hear. Okay, so of all of these things that we discussed, what do you think is the one key takeaway that our audience should really pay attention to?
Well, as I always say in other episodes, just pay attention. Just try to understand what's going on around you. Try to choose and pick, or pick and choose whatever technology you think it's more relevant for you. And yeah, stay curious. Curious.
Okay, everybody has heard it there. Stay vigilant and stay curious. Okay, so thank you again, Luca, for always taking the time for us. We hope everybody enjoyed this week's episode of 101 Questions for AI. Thank you for tuning in. And if you have any feedback for our episode, do reach out across our social media channels. And remember to hit the like button and subscribe down below. We'll see you next time.
Bye bye.